3, 2, 1.
1, 2, 3.
1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
We're doing 1, 2, 3, not 3, 2, 1.
1, 2, 3.
Okay. 1.
Change it up.
2.
5, 6, 4.
What was your first exposure to Goosebumps? Was it a movie, the first TV show, or books?
I think my very first exposure was one of the books when I was younger. And then I watched one of the Jack Black movies when I was a little bit older. But really, I got fully exposed to the Goosebumps world with this project. It was, I knew about Goosebumps, who doesn't, but I didn't really know the full madness until this project came along.
My mother narrates audiobooks. She narrated the audiobook for Night of the Living Dummy. I was a little kid when that was happening, and I don't know, hearing that and that process. That was my first kind of baby introduction to it, I guess, when I was young.
I was 25 when the books came out, so I missed that wonderful chapter of being a young adult and being able to discover it at that age. I really didn't discover it until more recently. Of course, I had heard about the franchise. I think I had seen bits and pieces, but it wasn't until they approached me with this that I watched the first year of this anthology series, and I read one of the books was "Stay Out of the Basement," which they had told me that Anthony, my character, was inspired by. And I was in. I was like, okay, this is amazing. All this material is great. And of course, read the script.
I have 2 kids, and as a mom, trying to make your kids read is not easy these days. So Goosebumps was the one thing that actually got them really psyched about reading, and there were so many of them that it just kept going and going. And I'm just happy to be doing a project that they actually think is cool for a change.
Each of the episodes are usually somewhat inspired by a book. I was curious, did you have a favorite Goosebumps book? And is it part of this series, if so?
I mean, I have to say Haunted Car is my favorite because it's ours and we own the car.
Yeah.
And the car is very scary and it taught me a lot physically, taught me a lot mentally. I never want to see that car again.
I'm assuming each of you sort of have a character-centric episode. And I imagine as they were casting this, they were sort of looking at not only how do you fit into this group dynamic, but how will you lead that episode that's more personal to your character? Curious, what was that audition process like?
Okay, This is actually really interesting because we all auditioned for different roles.
We did.
Before our roles now. It was so crazy because I originally auditioned for CC Brewer, and then I got a call back still as CC Brewer, and then I got a call from my agent being like, they want you for a chemistry read, and I was like, that's amazing. And they're like, yeah, but for a completely different character. And I was like, okay, I'll take it. I'm just dying to be in Goosebumps.
All of us kind of auditioned for.
I went for you first. I remember that.
Yeah.
Sure.
And then I went out for Sam's character, Devin. Actually, you know what though? CJ, his name was DJ at first.
It was
DJ. Yeah,
that's true.
Yeah, it was DJ. We changed it up.
You filmed in New York. Was there a favorite moment about being here for that shoot rather than somewhere else?
When you would be filming in the streets of Manhattan, New Yorkers would see you and stop. And then sometimes there would form a crowd, or there'd be paparazzi, or there'd be people be like, what are you shooting? And it was just very New York energy. And it was really cool. And it just made me feel kind of like a star, when a bunch of people are crowding around and seeing what we're shooting. It was really cool and it was surreal. And that was probably my favorite moment.
I'm from here. I've lived here my whole life. So I guess my favorite parts were, shooting on the Upper East Side because I live on the Upper West Side, because those days I just biked home.
I grew up in this city, spent my whole life in this city, and this show showed me parts that I have never seen before. And I just think that's so exciting. Anybody can discover something new about the place that you think you know so well. So for me, that was finding Fort Totten.
Fort Totten.
Yeah. Fort Totten
is in Queens, and it's this incredible old
beautiful
fort. And it happens to be 15 minutes from where I was born in Queens.
Oh, wow.
So, and I'd never seen it before. I'd never
seen it either.
A lot of the really cool shots are filmed at Fort Totten.
Yeah.
Congrats again. Can't wait for the whole series.
Thanks so much.
Bye.
Thanks. Take care.